Good morning. It's a Saturday morning coffee episode today. We're one day away from the official start of fall tomorrow after the day of this recording, and I hope you're excited about it as well. I am mostly excited because that means that I get to start with fall recipes, stews and stews especially. It's my favorite part about fall. Favorite season will be spring till the day I die. Something about just like new life being given, things turning green, the long cold winter behind you. I'm all about that spring, but I do have to admit, fall does have the best food. All right, so I have to be honest. This is the most unprepared I have ever been for Saturday morning coffee. And it's because I didn't have any rabbit holes that I found myself going down at all this week, which is highly unusual. I'm not really sure why. I do know that attention has been fractured between several different things and trying to keep up with homework, trying to start prepping and budgeting for Christmas. I've got far too many people to buy Christmas gifts for. So I've thought about a lot of small things and a lot of future things, but nothing big in the moment. So we're just gonna kind of work through some of those today. And so a lot of the small things, this is pretty exciting, but Faith and I have now collected enough board and card games that we have filled a second bookshelf, or both of our bookshelves are now full, and we had to pick up two more. Thankfully, we went and visited Faith's parents, and they happened to have two bookshelves on the side of the road that said free. So we loaded them up on our way down to see our friend's housewarming party, and got them cleaned up and started filling them up. I put one in my office just for HeroScape because I knew that was going to get to be way too much, because I went and bought the two expansions for it. So now I have the full, everything that's been released so far for Age of Annihilation, which is their comeback. And then they've got more stuff coming out next month. And I knew I needed a full bookshelf because, taking in and out of the box is a goddamn nightmare. So I've got all the minifigures sitting on their cards, and then I've got all the terrain pieces stacked up by type and size, and then I'm keeping the boxes and instructional instructional books and stuff, obviously, because it would be dumb to get rid of that stuff at this point. So anyways, I have the third bookshelf pretty much full. In that fourth bookshelf is a quarter of the way full with the other board and card games. We are now closing in on 75 board games at this point, which just fills my heart with so much happiness. I'm thinking when I hit 100, which will probably be after Christmas, I'm gonna sit down and do a video and possibly a podcast about like my favorite games. I'll take any opportunity I have to talk about board and card games. So if I get to share some of my favorites, why not? And I've done a lot of favorite things. So going through my top 5 favorite games or something would be delightful. Also been working on a lot of wedding planning stuff. I finished our save the dates, and I know people are getting antsy about whether or not they're getting an invitation, because people have mentioned them out, and they're like, well, where's my invitation? And it's like, well, I haven't sent any invitations out, and if you're so concerned, you could have texted me about it, right? So anyways, trying to get that done along with some other things logistics wise. And so the main thing I done was mocking up the graphics for the wedding invites. We're doing, of course I have to do that myself. Meaning of like, oh my god, no, I have to do it myself. No, I mean, like, of course, knowing me, I have to do everything from scratch, because why just pick something that's already custom built? Anyways, so that is done. Faith approved it, gave her a little stamp of approval after a minor edit, and now we're going to get those ordered and hopefully get save the dates out, which is thrilling. And then we can start focusing on other things. I think I mentioned this, but we had a change of venue, and so we're going to check out the new venue here in a couple of weeks. That'll be another traveling Saturday morning coffee episode. But, oh gosh, wedding planning, I know, is about to just really pop off. Yeah, there's a lot of work that's about to go into it. Check this out. I am closing in on 100,000 gamer score, and I know that means next to nothing for about everyone that listens to this. It's an Xbox thing. But this has been like a lifetime goal of mine. Since I've been like probably like 12 or 13, I was told myself I wanted to hit 1,000 gamer score, which is you get gamer score for each like achievement you get in a game, and an achievement is basically like something that's really hard to do, and every game usually has about every game is usually maxed out at 1,000 gamer score, and that's the most you could get from any game. And it could be like defeat the game on hard mode, or do this really impossible task that does nothing for you in game but gives you this achievement. And so anyways, I am at 90, almost 92,000, and I made it my goal to hit 100,000 on my birthday. And so I'm personally very excited about that. Like I said, it's been a long time goal of mine, and I was trying to decide how to spend my birthday. I've been going back and forth on this, and so ultimately, I was like, I could throw just a little like get together, invite some people, have some games and food. But then I was like, you know what? I honestly think I would rather just sit here, order a pizza, and play some video games with my best friend. I think that would be a pretty damn good birthday to me. And so Eli is going to take the day off work, and we're going to sit down virtually across the country, and we're gonna play Halo, and I'm gonna hit my 100,000 gamer score. And you know what? I think it's gonna be a pretty perfect birthday. And then some other small things I've been thinking about. Prepping for the fall. I have some like content that had to wait for the fall to start, like reviewing all of the books I read this summer. Spoiler, I did not finish all 5, so that's a bit of a problem. Also prepping all of the fall cooking videos I've got going on. We're going to be recording 2 of those tomorrow. We're doing a sourdough episode and then a homemade butternut squash soup with a couple different types of grilled cheese sandwiches. And so we're going to be doing that. And I'm also doing a taco soup recipe, which is nothing super particularly fancy, but it is just like a cornerstone meal of my household growing up, and I just have a lot of love for the dish, and so we're gonna give it a whirl, try to put a little spin on it. And so I've got tons of cooking videos planned out. And then I've been also in prepping for fall. Oh my god, I've gone this whole time without taking a sip of coffee. Excuse me. That's the whole point of this, is drinking coffee and talking, right? Oh, thanks for bearing with me. So my back patio was cute for maybe a month. And then I don't know, something went wrong, and I couldn't keep everything alive, and it was a struggle, and now everything's dead. So I'm gonna I don't know. It's better than any other prior year. So I know I'm incrementally getting better at having a backyard or back patio garden. And so I know something that could help is if I had a compost bin. And so the next thing I'm going to be doing is I am going to be deep diving into how to do a compost bin on like a balcony, patio, whatever, for an apartment. Now, I know it comes with certain smells and stuff, but I have found people that have done this without having the smelliness and getting in trouble with neighbors and stuff. So I'm gonna be really hitting the forums hard with this one and trying to come up with a composting system for my back patio to be able to then use that next year and give my plants like a hell of a good start. And so I think I might even do a video on it because my God, why not at this point? And I think and then document the results and see how it's going through podcast episodes, and just whether because I don't know. Some people say you can fail at making a compost bin. I don't know anything about it, so I'm about to find out. I'm gonna set a budget for it of like maybe $30 and hope that that's all I need. But I'll let you know. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of excited about it because I really want my plants to live, and I really want to have a nice back patio. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Also, this week I have been so damn busy with event planning. So other than wedding planning, which is still event planning, my mother might be disappointed in me when she hears this, but I am also helping plan a few events for my fraternity. And so like we have an annual alumni dinner and we have our 75th anniversary coming up. And I kind of got roped into being the top level planner for both of those events. But they're the fun things, you know. It's where I get to call up all my friends and say, hey, you guys should come have dinner, you know, and hang out. And it's fun stuff. And usually the old alumni want to show off, so they come in and drop their credit cards down at the bar and just say everyone drinks for free, or, you know, here's $2,000. Everyone can drink until it's used up. Like that happens every single year. And so it's a good time, right? So I just kind of got roped into planning those, but I'm not upset about it. At least it's the fun things. And I get to work with the people that I actually like, who also want to put in the effort, which is a huge change from, you know, what I've had to deal with in the last couple of years. So anyways, I'd say it's time for another drink of coffee. Okay, so I recognize that to preface this, I just finished 2 days ago uploading the final video to catch up on the final podcast episode to YouTube to catch up to where we're at today. And I'm looking at this and I'm realizing just how consumed I have been with Saturday morning coffee, to the point where I'm like, well, why the hell aren't I just calling this Saturday morning coffee, you know, and having it as this is what that podcast is. But I'm committed to producing other kinds of content, and I have all those ideas that are so built out. I just need to actually like either record them or do the last thing for research. But I promise that I actually have stuff outside of Saturday morning coffee coming up. I kind of hinted at that earlier. But I just wanted to bring up that it's funny, and I recognize that so much of what the show has been for the last couple of months is just Saturday morning coffee. But I think it's offset a bit. Outside of the podcast RSS stream, there's all this other YouTube content that's been coming out for the show. that I think kind of helps offset that. But if you only listen to the podcast stream, then it's been a lot of just this. So I'm going to be trying and focusing myself on finishing the things that I've started. And so, especially with this being the first week of fall, I already have an episode planned out. It's ready to go. I'm just going to be recording it hopefully on Monday, and it'll come out Wednesday. And then at least for the next few Wednesdays, you'll have Wednesday podcast episodes. So, all right. And then so one thing that has been on my mind this week is, hold up. Sorry about that. One thing that has been on my mind this week is that I don't share my creative projects on my personal social media. And I have a couple of reasons for that. And first of all, I feel like that if I reach out and ask people to listen to this, and I've only been able to ask a couple of very close, very dear friends of mine to check out the podcast. And it was only for a specific episode that I thought, okay, they would really like this, so I'll share it with them. But I somehow feel that it would be like a burden on others and asking them to listen. Like I am burdening their time and energy by asking them to devote some of it to listening to something that I care so much about, right? Which sounds insane when you put it like that. And I just don't know why I can't, I struggle so much doing it. And I think maybe one of the things is, I know in the past I have, I had a Kickstarter for a comic book. And I raised a few $1,000s, but I came up $300 short. And because of that, all the money got sent back. It was an all or nothing kind of thing. And so the Kickstarter failed. And I didn't have that many people from my personal life outside of my family. I had a couple, maybe, of people from my life outside of family that actually donated to it. And so that was the strongest signal to me that, my community doesn't want to support me, but then also that is a financial thing and totally different from listening to a 30-minute podcast and deciding whether or not you want to stick with it, right? So I don't know. I just struggle with feeling like not wanting to be a burden on other people, which is insane to say all of that about listening to a podcast that I produce and I care so much about and I put in a lot of effort for. So I guess the big thing is I just need to get the fuck over it. And you know what? Other people have shared it on their on their personal social media. A few of Faith's family members have all shared it on their social media, and I just want to, thanks to them, and I really appreciate that, and it means a lot to me, and I just need to get over it and do it the same because I want people to listen to this. It's nice to do this. There's a part of it just doing it for me, but getting it out there for others would make me a lot happier. It tells me that I'm producing something worthwhile and that I'm, and also you have to be your biggest promoter, right? If you're not your biggest promoter, why the hell else should anyone else promote you? So anyways, that's something that has been on my mind. I've been kind of struggling with it and trying to get to a point of telling myself to get over it. So, I'm going to leave you guys off with this and then a podcast recommendation. I'm just curious. Do you ever go back and listen to your or not listen? Do you ever go back and look at your bookmarks? And what I mean by this is maybe your browser bookmarks, or maybe your TikToks, bookmarks, any social media platform that you can save something to, or your browser. Do you ever go back and look through this list? Because I personally will save an ungodly amount of things to bookmarks on every platform, whether they're recipes or something that sparks my interest and I want to go down a rabbit hole on someday, or what have you. I honestly, the most I ever do is I will go back maybe once every couple months, look at about 10 videos and say, okay, that's enough work, right? But I save all these things because I want to go back and I want to look at them. And then I never do. And it drives me crazy. And I am entirely in control of this, right? But I always tell myself, oh, that's too much time, blah, blah, blah. But it's always too much time because I'm always adding to it and never going back and looking at it. Like it's his own sick cycle that I'm putting myself through. And so I'm just wondering, this cannot just be me, right? Do people, even your YouTube watch later, how many people go back and actually watch them later? Faith challenged me on this, and I actually do. That's about the only thing I do go back on and watch later is that YouTube save button. Everything else, don't got it. I've started telling one thing I've started doing for my browser, at least, is if I'm going to, every time I open my bookmark tab, I have to delete one. And that has been actually very helpful in starting to trim that down. I have stuck to that rule with about 90% accuracy. For the TikTok things, shit, no. I've got thousands of TikTok bookmarks. I don't know how I'm ever actually going to go fully through it. I was getting ready for bed and I went through about 10 and I was like, oh my God, this is too much work. Because if it's like content ideas, I'm like, got to put that in a document somewhere to like, go down a rabbit hole on or whatever. So too much. It's too much. If you do have a method for going through these, please share it with me. I would love to know how you actually managed to go through your bookmarks, especially like the recipe ones. My God. All right, that's it for Saturday morning coffee. I'm going to leave you off with a podcast recommendation, and that is going to be Jail's Marble Runs. You've heard me talk about marble racing an ungodly amount at this point, and it's probably one of the most popular subjects. But they have an accompanying podcast made by two other people from other than the announcer from the main the actual marble run thing. I honestly can't tell if they are a fan podcast or if they're like officially sanctioned or officially like a part of Gels Marble Racing on YouTube. Either way, this is an accompanying podcast, and they keep the spirit of the YouTube channel alive by talking about every single competitor as if they are an actual person. Just going so far as talking like if a marble goes off the track, they talk about it like, oh yeah, the medic's got to roll in, blah blah blah. It is the role play is phenomenal. And it's exact. I love this podcast because it's exactly what I love. The actual like YouTube channel. They just keep it so real, and there's like it's phenomenal. Just check it out. They are usually a weekly. They'll take breaks in between like seasons of Marble content, obviously. So if there's in between like Marble League and Marble 1, which has started, they took a break, but they're back now that Marble 1's been going for a few weeks. So of course, like every other week, it'll be linked in the show notes for this episode. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me on Saturday Morning Coffee, and I will see you all later.